Hi everybody, my name is Mr. Francy and welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. Okay, so today I am actually doing a take 2 of my August TBR. I had actually already filmed this in advance, but then things happened and now we're here creating a take 2. So I'll explain why. I did not get through all of the books on my July TBR, and so therefore 2 of the books that were on my July TBR are being pushed over to my August TBR, but because of that, I then had too many books on my August TBR, and there's no way I'd be able to get through them all, so I'm just refilming now for the purpose of making sure I have the correct TBR out there and not the incorrect one. Okay, so what makes things even more difficult for me in this situation is I had 2 books left to get through in my July TBR that I won't have enough time to get to, and both of those books are books that are a part of a series that is on my SAS list. So they are actually priority books, and the reason why I hadn't gotten to them yet is because normally I read my books in descending page count order. So I'll read the book that has the most amount of pages first and the book in the least amount of pages last, and all the other ones in between going down to the least amount. You know what I'm saying. So these 2 just ended up as the last 2 books that I was going to read, but I just ran out of time. So because of that, I really reevaluated my August TBR to prioritize with the books that I'm reading that are on my SAS list. So because of that, I have 2 series that I'm going to read 2 books from, I believe. Yes, I'm just confirming that. And yes, that is the case. So now let's begin with this new updated August TBR. So the first book on my August TBR is this book, The Silver Chair by C.S. Lewis. This is book number 6 in the Chronicles of Narnia series and is being pushed over from July onto my August TBR. Once I finish this book, I'll be able to pick up book number 7. You'll see that a little later on in my TBR, and then that will help me to close out the Chronicles of Narnia series. The next book that I plan to pick up is the other book that was pushed over from July, which is this book, Death of a Pumpkin Carver by Lee and Hollis. This is book number 8 in the Haley Powell Food and Cocktail Mystery series. So obviously I'll be reading book number 9 a little later on in this August TBR as well. Very quickly, I do like to give you the age rating and genres, and I realized I hadn't done that. The Silver Chair by C.S. Lewis is a middle grade classic, and Death of a Pumpkin Carver is an adult cozy mystery. So again, a reminder with the remainder of these books, I am not reading in order from most amount of pages to least amount of pages. I'm reading in priority order for my SAS list. So because of that, the next book that I plan to read is another cozy, which is this book, The Cider Shop Rules by Julie Ann Lindsay. This is the 3rd and final book in the Cider Shop Mystery Trilogy series, and so it will help me to close out that series. I really did not enjoy book number 1 at all. Book number 2, I was hoping, when I finished it, I had realized that I was actually hoping for more from the cider shop than what we got. But this is the final book in that series, so it's the concluding one. Hopefully we'll get a lot more cider shop action going on in this book. Only time will tell, but either way, it is the final book in the series, so I do want to read it in order to close the series out. Speaking of closing a series out, the next book that I plan to read is this book, Reached by Ali Condi. This is book 3 of 3 in the Matched trilogy. It is a YA dystopian, and so this will help me to complete the Matched trilogy, which is really fantastic because coming into June, I hadn't read any dystopians, and by the end of August, I will have completed a dystopian series and have another one that's nearly done. This one's been interesting. I think, look, I have to say, the other dystopian series that I'm reading is incredibly similar to this one, and so I think my biggest mistake was choosing to read both of those series at the same time, because sometimes I get confused with certain things that will go on in one series that I think is something that's happening in that series, but it's actually happening in the other one and vice versa. So yeah, that can be a bit annoying, but I'm intrigued to see how they're going to finish up this one because yeah, the way things ended with the other one, it just seems like, yeah, it might be an interesting conclusion. Only time will tell. The next book I plan to read, according to the author, is not going to help me to complete this series, but it will help me to be up to date with this series. And that will be Death at the Deep Dive by Josh Lanyon, which is book number 7 in the Secrets and Scrabble series. So Josh Lanyon has said in the past that she, which Josh Lanyon is a pen name, that she plans to release 10 books in this Male Cozy Mystery series. And I'm there for it. I love the series overall as a whole. And yeah, this book will help me to catch up with the series as a whole. So I am excited for that. And this is another adult cozy mystery. So reading a number of them in August. The next book I plan to read will help me to complete a series on my SAS list, and that is this book, The Last Battle by C.S. Lewis. So this is book number 7 in the Chronicles of Narnia series. So I'm obviously reading book 6 at the beginning of August, and then book 7 at this stage of the August TBR will help me to close out the Chronicles of Narnia. Once again, this is a middle grade classic series. It's been an enjoyable read so far, the series as a whole, and all the books are novellas, so they're incredibly short, easy to get through, but entertaining, a light entertainment along the way, which I really do appreciate. The next book I plan to read is this book, Death of a Lobster Lover, which is book number 9 in the Hayley Powell Food and Cocktail Mystery series. So obviously I'm reading book 8 as my second book for this month, and then I will have caught up with my July TBR, and then book 9 is the intended book from Lee Hollis for August. You know what I'm saying. It's all good. This is another adult cozy mystery series. There are more books in the series than I plan to get through this year. I plan to complete the first 13 books in this series. So with this being book number 9, it will help me to get ever closer to reaching that goal. So those are the top priorities on my SAS list, but also on my SAS list is the Uglies Quartet by Scott Westerfeld, and the book from that series that I'll be reading in August is this book, Specials, which is book number 3 of 4. So once I get through, this is a YA dystopian, so this is the other series that I kind of get confused between this one and the Matched trilogy. But yeah, this will help me to complete book 3, and then in September I can read book 4, and then that series will be closed out as well. And yeah, as I say, it's a YA dystopian. The next book that I'm going to read, or well, the remaining 4 books that I plan to read in the month of August are just books that I chose over the other ones. So yeah, this is what I plan to read, and the others will be probably shelved at this stage, who knows. But the next book that I plan to read was actually a I don't know why I said edition there, a last minute swap in and swap out situation. So I had another book on my TBR, and for some reason I ended up deciding I didn't want to read that book. So literally like a week or so prior to August, I decided, no, I don't want to read this, so I will find something else. And then I found this book, which is Going Zero by Anthony McCartan. So this is I believe it's an adult. Yes, an adult thriller. So for those of you who are new to the channel, hello, welcome. Great to have you here. I have decided to try and read more thrillers this year, and so this is going to certainly help me to do that. I took a look at the premise on the back, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of this premise, not too much at all, but just to give you an idea of what this thriller is about. And it says, 10 people have been carefully selected to beta test a groundbreaking piece of spyware pioneered by tech wonderkind Cy Baxter. Fusion can track anyone wherever they are on Earth, but how does it work? Each participant is given 2 hours to quote-unquote go zero, to go off the grid and disappear. and then 30 days to elude the highly sophisticated capture teams sent to find them. Any Zero that beats Fusion will receive $3 million in cash. It's a game, and if you know me, you know how much I love my games in thrillers. This book just screamed my name, and I'm so happy I have it. There's no way I was taking this book off my August TBR. I can't wait to get to this one. The next book I plan to read may or may not surprise you when you see the author, and that is this book, Dark Ride by Ian Rob Wright. This is an adult horror, and I am planning to read as many Ian Rob Wright books as I can this year, because for those of you who are new to the channel, I've had a very mixed time when it comes to horrors. The majority of the horror books that I've read in the past, I've been here for 3 years now. I can't believe I've been here for over 3 years. But anyway, over the course of the over 3 years that I've been doing this channel, the horror books that I've read, they just really haven't been amazing horror books in my mind. And then last year, I picked up The Housemates by Ian Rob Wright, and it blew me away. If you are someone who wants your adult horror books to be adult horror, then I highly recommend Ian Rob Wright. If you're someone who wants a more light-hearted adult horror, don't pick up Ian Rob Wright, because he not only crosses the line, he runs over and sprints way down to the other end of wherever the line is so that you can no longer see the line. So I love Ian Rob Wright. I finished the Damien Verse Quartet recently, those 4 books, and then in June, I read Escape by Ian Rob Wright, and I liked that book as well. That's set in an escape room. I don't want to know what this one is about. I want to go in completely blind, but I love the cover, and I'm very, very intrigued. So yeah, we'll see how we go with this one. The next book I plan to read, I actually probably could swap out for one of the ones that I'll push over to another TBR, but I just can't, even though I really don't need to read it. But anyway, I'll explain. So last month? No, the month before. Okay, 2 months ago, I started a series called the Housemates series by Jay Northcott, and I loved the first book and planned to put the series on my 2024 TBR. And then all of the month of July, all I could think was, no, I can't wait any longer. So I ended up putting book 2 onto my August TBR, which is this book, Like a Lover. So this series as a whole, at least judging by what I got in book 1, is a male, spicy to the highest range and degree of spice you can go series. Like, seriously, if you don't know what I mean by that, not a problem at all. I'm happy to tell you. Spiciness when it comes to romance books determines the level of graphicness when it comes to the depictions of the bedroom scenes, if that makes sense. So book 1 was extremely graphic, and that's why I'm saying as spicy as it can be. Like, it is the spiciest thing I've ever read. But I loved it. It was a fantastic read, just a joy for me to read. So I decided to pick up book number 2, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. So yeah, officially I'd probably call this an adult male spicy romance, I guess. But yeah, love book 1 so much I needed to read book number 2 now. I couldn't wait till 2024. So there were 3 books left on my TBR by the time I got to this point. I had to reject 2 for the time being, shelve 2, and pick 1. And I was umming and ahhing with what I was going to choose for my last book, whether I wanted to go with the book I was most excited to read or the book that I really should read to assist me with certain things that I'm trying to achieve this year. I ended up going with the book that I should read to assist me with certain things this year. So we'll see how that works out for me. But the final book I'm going to read is this book, The Distance Between Us by Casey West. This is a YA romance book. I wanted to read more male-female romances this year. I've read a ton of male-male romances already this year and plan to read a heck of a lot more as time goes on. But I need to read some more male-female romances to round things out for myself. And so I'm going on a quest, like with Ian Rob Wright, to read as many Casey West books as I can. So I'm actually currently, at the time of recording, reading her book By Your Side, and I've read 3 other books from her. I'll just check what they are. P.S. I Like You, Listen to Your Heart, and Lucky in Love. So By Your Side became book number 4 that I picked up of hers, and The Distance Between Us will be my 5th Casey West book. I just think she's fantastic when it comes to YA male-female romance. So there you go. And now for everyone's favourite game that we like to call Imagine Me Holding All the Books and putting them up on the screen for you. Up. These are all the books that I plan to read in the month of August 2023. What books do you plan to read in the month of August 2023? Let me know in the comments section below. I am very intrigued to see how the August TBR will go for me, considering that I'm doing the good thing by prioritizing with my goals as opposed to grabbing books that I want to read and deviating from my goals. So it'll be interesting to see, especially considering I have the 2 Lee Hollis books and the 2 Narnia books to read in the space of August, and all of those books that aren't those series that are on my SAS list as well. It'll be very interesting to see how things go. But what books do you plan to read in the month of August? Let me know in the comments section below. But in the meantime, that is where I am going to leave it, letting you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind and love one another and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. And until next time, happy reading. Bye everyone.